Superman and Lois episode 4 just finished airing on the CW, and I'm here to give you guys my spoiler-free review. Overall, I'd say this episode was great and it didn't really have too many flaws, and it just had small stuff here and there that I didn't really like. I'm gonna get started with the good of this episode. I thought this episode did great in terms of screen time for every single one of the characters. I think they did a good job in balancing out each character's screen time. We had some screen time with Superman, some screen time with Lois, some screen time with the twins, and then we also got the sergeant, which we did get in the last episode. So I thought it was cool to finally get to see him again after him not being in one of the episodes. And overall, I thought they did a great job of balancing everyone together. Also, from the little time that we saw of Edge on screen, I thought it was great character development. Again, especially for the timing that he was on screen. He was on screen for a max of like 3 to 4 minutes, and we got great character development for him. So I thought that was also another plus. They gave him the minimal amount of screen time, but they gave him just enough so that he doesn't feel completely pushed out of the story. One of the biggest things I was scared of in this show was that the twins weren't gonna get enough screen time, and that's definitely not an issue. The twins got a lot of screen time this episode, and I thought they did actually really well. They did it in an interesting way where you can see the times where the twins actually have a lot of tension, but then at times they also have to work together because they're the only ones that know about each other's situations at home and all that kind of stuff. So it is really cool how they decided to do the chemistry between the twins, and I'm not complaining. I actually like it a lot. I actually like the way that they balance their relationship, because sometimes I feel like in TV shows they kind of try to make one twin more powerful and the other one neglected, and that's how it felt like in the previous episodes. But in this episode, you actually get to see the strengths of both and the weaknesses of both of the kids. So they did a great job. They also do a great job of, like I said before, balancing them into the main family. One of the things in this episode that was very improved from the last episode was the action sequences. They were really well paced. Actually, they had like one of the fight sequences, one of the main fight sequences in the middle of the episode, where they had it before, they started it before the commercial break, and went after the commercial break, and then they split it up, and we saw a little bit of the twins at a party, and then we went back to the action sequence, and then the twins called Superman to come help them. So I thought it was great pacing for that action sequence. Also made a lot of sense the way that Superman defeated that smaller villain. I think another thing that really accounts into that is that they're not doing smaller villains yet. They are doing smaller villains. So this episode we did have a smaller villain, but it wasn't like a weekly villain where it's like they take up the entirety of the episode, which I think is another reason why this show is a lot better than other CW shows, is because they don't rely on the weekly superheroes, the weekly villains. They more or less rely on the family drama, and then here and there they'll sprinkle in the smaller villains that contribute to the overall storyline. And it's just like regular crimes going on. It's not like they're being controlled by one big mastermind that we know of so far, whereas in the Flash it's like, oh, everyone's working and then we're trying to uncover all these people and they're part of the bigger issue in the show. But no, this show is handling it really well. We also get introduced to a smaller new character. I'm not going to say anything about the character because I don't want to spoil it. I just liked how they introduced him, and it didn't take away from the main 4 storyline. It was just a little addition to the twin storyline, nothing more, nothing less. Overall, this episode was pretty good. It really did keep me engaged from the first second to the final second. It was really great overall. It fired on all cylinders. The drama was great, kept me engaged. The action was great and kept me engaged. And overall, just the story connections were great and they kept me engaged. So moving on to the bad, I really have little to nothing to say about the bad. First of all, we got no Lex Luthor once again. That's not really a spoiler because no one really cares, but we didn't really get Lex Luthor that much in this episode, so I was really disappointed as that because we didn't get him in the previous episode as well. So yes, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They're probably planning something for him in a bigger storyline, so I don't really mind. And finally, it felt like overall in the episode, the pacing was a little bit off. Other than that one action sequence, I thought the one action sequence was done really well. But other than that, overall, the entire episode felt like we were getting weird cuts and breaks and all that kind of stuff. So other than that, I think the episode was really good, and that's basically all I have to say about the bad. So now I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't already seen the episode, you can skip to my final take. So spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So I thought that one really cool thing about the ending of this episode, whenever the general held up the pin or the little necklace that Mr. Luthor gave to him, he said that there was a mission called Project 773 or Initiate Project 773. I'm not sure if that was the exact number, but it was something around that, something like that. I think that the general is finally going to go against Superman. I think that'd be super cool to see, especially since the general is Lois's mom. Lois's dad. I think that's super dope. Also, we got the family connection connections with the General, as well as just the General not liking Superman anymore. I don't know what the General's problem is. He's kind of like Director Hayward from WandaVision, if you guys have seen WandaVision. Director Hayward and the General are basically like the same people. They have good intentions. Like, they're doing the right thing for society, I guess. But to the main, like, from the perspective of we're looking at it, they're really bad people. And I think the General's really bad in general. Like that's funny. But the General is really bad overall, because he's trying to stop Superman. I don't know what he's doing. Mr. Luthor got into his head, but I thought that was something that was worth mentioning, because I think they can do a lot of cool stuff with that, especially since there's family tie-in drama, and then there's also just the Superman aspect of everything. Also, whenever we found out that we found out that kid that had like the super like fast moving arm when he was talking to the twins, and they had that whole interaction with him. They had that action sequence and Superman took him to the hospital or whatever. I think that's super cool that they mentioned that there's a school for kids who with mutant abilities or whatever, something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, because we also saw one of the kids, I think his name is Jonathan, the kid with the brown hair. We saw him look really scared that his parents are going to send him there. So hopefully that gets brought up in a future episode, because I'm excited to see what that means. I think that's super cool that we got that little tease. So maybe that means Jonathan, or the brown hair kid, is going to be going to that school, and maybe he tries to escape. Maybe something cool happens with that. I don't know. It seemed they set up a lot in this episode, especially towards the end. We got a great story in the beginning, and we got a great setup at the end. So my final take. I thought this episode was overall pretty awesome. The show, like I said before, is yet to fall off. I think they did a great job with the twins, as well as Superman and Lois. They did a great job with teasing Edge in there, as well as the other family. I forgot what they're called, but the firefighter and his wife. They did a great job of implementing them into the episode. Overall, there was not much wrong with this episode, and it's definitely one of my favorite ones of the entire series, just from the balance of high school lifestyle that we got to see, as well as the regular Superman action. I have to say, this episode probably had my favorite Superman action out of any of the episodes we've seen so far, and I cannot wait until next week. If you guys didn't know, after episode 5 of Superman and Lois, it's going to be going on a hiatus for this final season of Supergirl. I'm not going to be doing reviews on Supergirl because I haven't really seen any of the other seasons, so I don't really care for the show. But right when Superman and Lois starts back up, I'll be reviewing it again. If you guys are new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss whenever I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of the support lately. I'll see you next time. Peace.